Ever wondered why baking powder over baking soda in a recipe? Why do we add eggs, oil or milk to breads, waffles and pancakes? I did, and guess what I found out? Baking powder reacts with naturally occurring bubbles in your batter, enlarging them. In a dry mixture, baking powder, made of baking soda and a reactive salt, lies dormant. Adding liquid causes a reaction to occur, producing carbon dioxide bubbles to form. It is these bubbles that give the batter that fluffy effect. Again, in the oven, heat expands the bubbles, causing the batter to rise. Baking soda, 4 times stronger than baking powder, requires an acidic component to react with. It has an immediate reaction with the batter and requires baking immediately after infusion to the batter. Too much baking soda will impart a soapy taste to baked goods, and they will tend to crumble. Milk adds moisture to batter. But better yet, milk adds the strength for batters to raise and tenderize the dough for a creamier texture. It is the fats in the milk which provides crust to pie shells, breads and cakes. Oil acts to lighten the crumbs in a baked product. It also binds the various ingredients together to supply a homogeneous taste to baked goods. Oils tend to weaken the gluten bonds of the flour, providing a moist, comfortable taste to the palate without a serious chew effect. Eggs trap air in a batter, and especially at room temperature, disperse evenly into a batter. Room temperature is important to a lighter, fluffy final product. Add eggs one at a time and incorporate it into a batter. This allows the egg to emulsify, combine 2 or more ingredients, which normally do not mix well together. The batter. Flour, when moistened, creates gluten, a chemical protein most people have heard of. Gluten in the dough helps trap all of that carbon dioxide created when baking powder reacts with milk, leading to bubble formation in the dough. It is this bubble formation which lends airy puffiness to baked goods. The longer dough has to incorporate rise, the more gluten bonds form, and the more carbon dioxide bubbles form, thus the reason to let dough rise for an hour or so. Flour also aids in fermentation, breaking down its starches into sugars for yeast to feed upon. Yeast is a living microorganism which devours the sugars converted from starch in the flour and expels carbon dioxide gas. The difference between yeasts and baking powder is that yeast produces gas much slower and imparts a different texture to dough than baking powders. Also, baking powder dough requires immediate baking for best results, while yeast doughs need time to react.